أحدهما إني أراني أعصر خمرا وقال الآخر إني أراني أحمل فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين قال لا يأتيكما طعام ترزقانه إلا نبأتكما بتأويله قبل أن يأتيكما ذلكما مما علمني ربي إني تركت ملة قوم لا يؤمنون بالله وهم بالآخرة هم كافرون صدق الله العظيم. Respected brothers and my dear young friends, last week we started the ayat وَدَخَلَ مَعَهُ السِّجْنَ فَتَيَانِ, which is the beginning of the fourth ruku of Surah Yusuf. And we mentioned that when Yusuf ﷺ was taken into jail, with him two other people, the servicemen, the servants of the king, were also admitted, and that there was a crime on them, accusation that they were trying to poison the king, and we went through that. Anyway, some days had passed and these people became fond of Yusuf ﷺ. They became familiar with him, and Yusuf ﷺ was known in the jail. So some days had passed and they came to Yusuf ﷺ and he said, لَقَدْ أَحْبَبْنَاكَ حُبًّا زَائِدًا, that, oh Yusuf, we have great love for you. We have great affection for you, love for you. And why not? Because Yusuf ﷺ was a very honorable person, and he was loved in the jail because of his prophetic morals and his character and his akhlaq, his mercy, his affection, his good ways towards the inmates. And it's mentioned that Yusuf ﷺ throughout the night would engage in ibadah, and through the day he would see to his inmates and he would talk to them. If somebody was ill, he would go and visit them. If they needed any help, he would help them. If somebody was down in spirits, he would give them good words. And he was such a person that is mentioned in some tafsir that even the guards of the jail became mu'taqid of him. They became convinced of his spirituality. That this person is ajib, he's on a different level. He's spiritually very high. He is pious. He is an example of piety. He is piety in physical form. So it's mentioned that the God actually used to tell Yusuf ﷺ that if it was in our capability, we would have released you. We would not have kept you here. But it so happened that we are just gods here, but we will assure you that we will not give you any taklif. We from our side will not make any things hard on you. So Yusuf ﷺ would sit with the inmates, and as a Nabi, their first and foremost mission and their objective was always to call people towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, towards deen. So when people would be down, sometimes he mentioned that he would go to them and he would give them some very good words, comforting words. So he would say to them, Isbiru, wabshiru, tujaru, isbiru, sabr karo, be patient. You're in jail now, what can we do? We can't run away, we can't break the wall, we can't escape. So rather than mourning, rather than crying, rather than becoming depressed, isbiru, do sabr. Wabshiru, and be happy. One day we will be freed. One day there's light at the end of the tunnel. Don't worry about it. And tujaru, and if you do this, then you will be rewarded. So upon hearing this, the inmates, because they were majority of the people in Egypt were mushriks, they were idol worshippers. So when they heard this, they said, Ma ahsana hadithak. These are such great words. You are coming out with such wise words. Laqad burika lana fi jawarik. Indeed, we are so lucky to be in your company. We are so lucky to be with you. So from this we can understand that in life we will also come across different phases in life. Sometimes it will be times of grief, sorrow, sadness. Something might befall us, we might be afflicted with something. And other times we'll be in happy moments, enjoyments. Somebody's been given, Allah's blessed somebody with a child. Somebody's got a new job, somebody's lost his job, somebody's become ill, somebody's become better. So وَتِلْكَ الْأَيَّامُ نُدَاوِلُهَا بَيْنَ النَّاسِ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala spins these days amongst people. And what's the lesson for us? That the days which are difficult, the days which are hardship, isbiru, do sabr. Because by complaining, by mourning, by groaning, by crying, by becoming depressed, the difficulty is not going to go. If anything, you're going to make it worse for yourself. So, isbiru, do sabr, be happy. And wabshiru, and understand that, yes, inshallah, these days will finish and the other good days will come. That's why those people who are going through a phase of distress, a phase of grief, a phase of sadness, for them there's happiness, because they know at the end of the tunnel there's light. The worrying factor is for those people who are going through happiness. But you don't know when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala might take it. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala preserve us, keep us with the afiyat, but nobody knows when Allah can take away afiyat. So from this we understand that whichever phase in life you are going through, if it's sadness, griefs, then do sabr, and you will definitely be rewarded. And what's the reward for sabr? For other rewards, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala fixed. You pray one namaz with Jamaat 27 times more. You do this 70 times more. You fast, you get this. If you do zakat, you get this. What's the reward for sabr? إِنَّمَا يُوَفَّ الصَّابِرُونَ أَجْرَهُمْ بِغَيْرِ حِسَابٍ. Allah says, I have kept the reward of sabr exclusively to myself. There is no fixed number. Whatever I want to give, I will give. So when you are fallen, when some adversity comes your way, then do sabr. Because if you have this in mind, that chalo, it's a few days of hardship, but the reward is so much. When Allah will come, when a rich person comes to give, he doesn't look at you, he looks at his status. When Allah comes to give, he's not going to look at you that you're a small servant of mine, he's going to look at his grandeur, his honors. When Allah gives, there's no end to it. So Qadi Iyaz Rahmatullahi alayhi used to say that whoever becomes content, whoever becomes happy with whichever state he is in, especially in the state of sadness, in the sabr, sahal Allah, Allah will make that easy for him. That difficulty will become easy for him. So a lesson for us is that whenever we come across difficulties, then do sabr. No use complain. What's sabr? Sabr is don't, and later on inshallah it'll come regarding Yaqub Salam for sabrun jameel. What's sabr jameel? That you exercise such patience that you don't even utter with your mouth that I am going through this, but not even your facial expression could even see. Nobody can see from your facial expression that this person is going through so much difficulties. Sabr jameel, that my Allah is sufficient. My Allah knows what I'm going through. Him knowing alone is sufficient for me. So anyway, inshallah, we'll talk about that later. But the other lesson we can learn from here is that Yusuf, his moral, his akhlaq was so high. This is for all of us. That when we go out in the field of da'wah, when we go out in the field of tabligh, when we want to influence somebody, first and foremost is our own akhlaq. How do we be? Are we being selfish? Are we showing anger? Are we being too quick at making decisions? These things repel a person. If you want people to take your words, if you want people to listen to you, if you want your words to penetrate somebody's heart, the first thing they will look at is your morals and akhlaq. What kind of a person is he? Is he soft-hearted? Does he have mercy? Does he have compassion in him? And depending on your akhlaq, they will flock towards you. They will come towards you. Yusuf salam, people were coming to him. And it became famous in the jail that if you want your dream interpreted, go to Yusuf salam. So these two people, whilst they were in jail, they realized that we've had a dream and we need this dream to be interpreted. So let's go to Yusuf salam and let's take advice from him. Because out of all the inmates of the jail, he looks like the most wise. He looks like the person with the best morals, best characteristics. Let's go to him. And Hazrat Masjid, just a quick side note, mentions that how does love grow in somebody's heart? There's three ways. Number one, Jamal. Number two, Kamal. Number three, Nawal. And number four, side one is Karabat. So number one, Jamal. Beauty, the person is handsome or something is beautiful, something is good. This creates love. And we like good things. Every person is attracted towards good things. So this is one thing. So if a person is handsome, this is an extra point for him. But if he is handsome on the outside, but the inside is not handsome, if the inside tazkiyah has not taken place, then people will come to him, but in a very short time they will disperse from him because his akhlaq are not there. So the first and foremost thing that might attract somebody to you is Jamal, it's beauty. After that, it's Kamal. Kamal, excellence in something. Somebody's got ilm. One person's got ilm, but he has little ilm. One person's got high ilm. He's got the essence of ilm. He knows ilm, he knows hadith, Quran. No matter how he looks, people will have love for him. Direct love for him. They will be inclined towards him. Somebody has got generosity in him. One person is generous but on a lower scale. One person is very generous. This is Kamal, very generous. People will be inclined towards him naturally. One person has sabr. One person has a high level of sabr. People will be inclined towards him. So number two is Kamal. And number three is Nawal, Ihsan. Ihsan means when you do good to somebody. You give a lending hand to somebody. Somebody's become ill, he can't do something, you help him. You helping him, you are putting the first seed of muhabbat in his heart. And on this, as the time you say, if you look in our life, then Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has these three in the highest level. Beauty, he had such beauty that Hazrat Aisha radiallahu anha says, I looked at the moon and I looked at my Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam, and I came to a conclusion, my Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam is more beautiful than the moon. As Ali radiallahu anha says, that ma ra'aytu ahadun qattu mithlahu wala ba'dahu. I have never seen anybody like him before him or after him, never. This was this beauty. And in terms of Kamal, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala gave him pinnacle in everything. His ilm was at the highest level, his sabr was at the highest level, his courage was at the highest level, his bravery was at the highest level. His generosity in Ramadan, normal day was so generous, Ramadan double fold. His generosity was the highest. And number three, ihsan. Who's done a greater ihsan on the ummah? Who's done a greater ihsan on the creation than Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? If he wouldn't have come, we would have been misguided. If he wouldn't have come, we would not have the Quran, we would not have been guided. So when a person ponders on this, and he starts to read the Sirat, then automatically his love for Rasulullah will become very high. And when the person loves somebody, then what happens? What's the rule? Innal muhibba liman yuhibbu muti. Whoever you love, you will become obedient to him. Then to follow the sunnah of Rasul will become easy for you. Absolutely easy, because you love him. Love is the driving force. Love is the steam behind it. Love is the engine. We don't have the engine's not working. You've got to run for so long. You're going to push the car for how long? But if the engine starts to work, then it'll take speed straight away. And this is the bottom part. This is the bottom line. That if we manage to embed the love of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam in our heart, then nobody needs to tell us, bhai, takbir ula, namaz mein aa jao. Bhai, this is sunnah, this is not sunnah, this is makruh tanzih, this is must. Our minds will go automatically. What's the practice of Rasulullah in this amal? What did Rasulullah do in this amal? How did he carry this amal out? And when a person ponders in the seerah, he will get love of Rasulullah in all three ways. So when Yusuf salam, these people, they saw him, so they came to him, and one of them said, "Qala ahaduma inni yarani ya'siru khamra." That I have seen myself. A'siru khamra. Asara ya'siru means to squeeze. This is where asir comes from. In Arabic, asir means juice. Is the thing that's extracted when you squeeze something. So one of them said, he came and said, "Inni qala ahaduma inni yarani." One of them said, "Inni arani a'siru khamra." I see myself squeezing some juice out. And Mufassirin say that he saw a dream, and he saw a dream that he put a grape seed in the ground, and few days later, he became 3 bunches. And he took the bunches of grapes and he squeezed them and he took out the juice and it became wine, and he gave it to the king to drink. And he asked for the interpretation. وَقَالَ الْآخَرُ, the other person said, إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَحْمِلُ فَوْقَ رَأْسِي خُبْزًا. The other said that, إِنِّي أَرَانِي أَحْمِلُ فَوْقَ رَأْسِي. I see myself, meaning in the dream, أَحْمِلُ, I am lifting, I am carrying, فَوْقَ رَأْسِي, above my head, خُبْزًا, I am carrying bread above my head. But فوق رأسي خبزا تأكل الطير منه. The birds are coming from all angles and they are eating from it. Then they said, نبئنا بتأويله. Inform us of its interpretation. We know that you interpret dreams in the best manner. You are the most knowledgeable here. Interpret the dreams for us. And why have we come towards you? نبئنا بتأويله إنا نراك من المحسنين. We have come to you because we see you amongst the good doers. We see you amongst people that are doing ihsan on people. And one point to note from here, that Yusuf Islam was innocent, and he was put in jail. And what's a jail? A jail is an arena. It's a ground for who? For evil people, for notorious people, for people who have committed crimes. So on one side you've got a jail where they are all criminals, and on this side you've got a Nabi. Now the question is, who will influence who? Will the Nabi influence these, or will they influence the other? You go to college. Will you influence them, or will they influence you? Who will influence you? So when we read our Kabbalist books, you will understand what ilm they had, and you will appreciate them. As the Master Jaame says, that the tabi is the follower. The follower will get influenced by the matbu. Matbu is the person being followed. So Yusuf alayhi salatu wasalam is in the jail. Is he going to them, or are they coming to him? Who's going to who? They are coming to him. So they are what? They are followers. Yusuf is a matbu. He is the one that's being followed. So what will happen? No matter how notorious they are, no matter how evil they are, no matter what crimes they have done, they will not be able to affect Yusuf. And they will never, because he's a Nabi anyway. But if you were to put in a normal general, there's a pious person on one side and a criminals on one side, then what will happen? If they come to him, then he will affect them, he will influence them. And if a good person was in the company of the wrong people, then they will affect him. One person is an alim, one person is a pious person, one person is connected with Dawah and Tabligh, and he goes college. And there's two groups of people. There's one group of people who are normal people. One is the Tablighi Jamaat group, or some alims. If he goes in that group, then he will be saved. If he decides to hang around with these people, what's hanging around mean? He spends time with them. In class, it's different. You start in college, you're doing your work, he's doing your work, he's doing his work. You might be sat next to each other, but every person is doing his own work. Nobody will affect anybody. After college finishes, for 2 hours, they go in town center and walk around and they go to eat. But this person who has a beard, who is Zahiri Dindar, has decided to chill and has decided to spend his time with people who are of the opposite mindset. Who will affect who? This person will get affected because he has decided to go into their company. So it could possibly happen that after 6 months his beard might start to get shortened. After 8 months his jubba might go and become top and pants. How did this happen? This happened because he decided to come into their company. There's one person, he's outside, he's in drugs, and he decides to go Jamaat. Will all the Jamaat satis become druggies, or will that druggie might become better? What will happen? These people will not be influenced because they have not gone into his company. He has come into their company. And this is the bottom. Nowadays in life, youngsters, when they get spoiled, what's the reason? Their parents don't teach them wrong things. It's because of this sohbat. That they decide to go into a company of somebody who is lower, so they will have to adopt his company. They will have to adopt his ways. And if you decide to stay in the company of the pious, then you will not go the wrong way. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentioned in the Quran, Ya alladhina taqullah wa kunu ma'as sadiqin. Stay in the company of the pious. And who are the pious? Level 1 piety is who? Number 1, nobody should sit in the company of evil people. Even if he's a Muslim, but he is doing evil, he's in gambling. Don't go to the place where they are gambling. That is bad company. Because over a period of a few weeks, you will also start gambling. Don't go to the shisha cafe where they are having shisha, because if you go there, you are putting yourself in their company, or in a period of time, you will also fall into shisha. So what should you do? Number 1, a Muslim should not sit in the company of any evil person, any open fasting, a person who openly sins. You're not allowed to sit in his company. وَلَا تَقُولُوا مَعَهُمْ حَتَّى يَقُولُوا فِي حَدِيثٍ غَيْرٍ. Don't sit with them. لَا تَقُولُوا مَعَهُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala instructed us on, don't even sit with these people until they change the topic. So don't sit with people that are in wrong company, that are in evil company. So whose company should be sitting? Number 1, the base minimum company is those people who outwardly are pious, who you don't see them doing open sin. Whatever they do at home, that's their business. But do you see them coming namaz, mashallah, they got a beard, they talk good. This is at least good company for you. What's level number 2? Level number 2 is sitting in the company of an alim who is muttaqi, alim. Or a person who has ijazat from a sheikh, who has done his inner soul reformation. This sohbat is better than the first level. If you sit in his sohbat, you will gain knowledge and you will also get bits of your heart in place. And what's the best company? The best company is that you put your hand in the hand of a sheikh. A person who has got ijazat, who has gone through this vigorous routine of rectifying his soul and taking out all the evil traits and beautifying his heart with good traits. Sabr has come into his heart. Contentment has come into his heart. Love of Allah and His Rasul has come into his heart. Love of the dunya has gone out of his heart. Takabbur, pride, ujb, arrogance has gone out of his heart. You become bayat to this person and you sit in his company. Inshallah, sitting in his company, he will have effect on you. Like going to an itar shop. And you go in the itar shop, if you don't get the itar, at least you will come home with some fragrance on your clothes. And whoever's at home will find out, where did you go today? MashaAllah, got a very beautiful fragrance coming from you. So this is sohbat. So the people came, then 2 people came and they asked this question. Nabbina bi ta'wili inna naraka min muhsinin. Because we are seeing that you are amongst the good doers. So Yusuf straight away realized that these people have come, they want the interpretation and they are eager to listen. But what is my ultimate motive? What is my ultimate objective? Why have I come in this dunya? To call people towards Deen and Allah. So he told them that before I give you the interpretation, he thought, let me tuck these words in and call them towards Allah, the oneness of Allah, because they were idolaters. They were worshipping idols. So from there Yusuf says, قَالَ لَا يَأْتِكُمَا طَعَامٌ تُرْزَقَانِ إِلَّا نَبَّأْتُكُمَا بِتَأْوِيلِهِ. That before I start, he embedded a foundation. He put a base in their heart. That, have you not seen? لَا يَأْتِكُمَا طَعَامٌ. That no food comes to you. You are not provided with any food. But I will tell you what you will be provided with. لَا يَأْتِكُمَا طَعَامٌ تُرْزَقَانِ إِلَّا نَبَّأْتُكُمَا. I will inform you of the food. The food that's coming from your house, or the food that's coming from your friends, wherever the food is coming from, number one, I will tell you, and I've been telling you, have you not seen that I've been telling you the food which is coming, the type of food, the quantity of the food, and the time that it's coming. I've told you it's coming 5 minutes and it's there. Have you not seen that? So he said, yes, we have seen it. Yes, you've been saying that today is this food and that's the food that comes. Today is this food and it'll come at this time and this is the amount of food. And exactly happens like this. So Yusuf salam, in a very subtle manner, lot of wisdom, he took this in. That, forget the interpretation, before the interpretation, let me tell you a miracle. Have you not seen this miracle from me? And why is he saying this for? Not out of boastfulness, not out of self-pride. In fact, to put in their hearts the conviction that I am a Nabi, and if you listen to me, I will guide you, and you will be saved, and you will get salvation, and you become amongst the fortunate. So to make them understand, he put this, that before I give you the interpretation, have you not seen for the last few days, or since you come in jail, that whenever food is going to come, before the food comes, I tell you what the food is, what time it will come, what's the quality of the food, and it happens exactly. لا يأتيكم الطعام ترزقان إلا نبأتكم بتأويله قبل يأتيكم ذلكم مما. So then Yusuf posed the question. So the question is, so where does this come from? I am giving this knowledge that no other human can give you. Nobody can sit here and say to you that today at 6 o'clock, this will be the food at your house, this will be the amount of food, and this is who will bring it. Can anybody say that to you? Nobody can say it. So Yusuf was trying to say, look, I am telling you something which a human cannot tell you. I am telling you something which a normal human can't tell you. So who's telling me? Who's putting it in my mind and my heart? Allah Azza wa Jalla. ذَلِكُمَ مِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي. This is the knowledge which my Allah is teaching me. It is my Allah who is putting it in my heart. It is my Allah who is putting the wahi in my heart. That this is a food. And this is a miracle. Why? So that you can have assurance that I am a true Nabi. You can have assurance and you can be convinced. And you know that I am not lying. And this miracle was like the miracle of Isa alayhi salam. Isa alayhi salam was also bestowed with this miracle. But the difference was, Isa alayhi salam used to tell them after they finished eating, and they would come to Isa alayhi salam. He used to tell them that وَأُنَبِّئُكُمْ بِمَا تَأْكُلُونَ وَمَا تَدَّخِرُونَ فِي بُيُوتِكُمْ. I will tell you what you have just ate. And Yusuf alayhi salam used to tell them before the food was cooked. And this was to strengthen this. And then what did he say? In that, إِلَّا نَبَّأْتُكَ قَبْلَ ذَلِكَ وَمِمَّا عَلَّمَنِي رَبِّي إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ. And why did my Allah teach me this? Why is my Allah telling me this and not telling you or not telling other people? Because إِنِّي تَرَكْتُ مِلَّةَ قَوْمٍ لَا يُؤْمِنُونَ بِاللَّهِ وَبِالْآخِرَةِ هُمْ كَافِرُونَ. Because I have left the ways, I have abandoned the way of those people who do not believe in Allah and those people who are deniers of the hereafter. This was the aqidah of those people. The mushriks and the Egyptians, their aqidah was that number one, they didn't believe in Allah, they were worshipping idols. And number two, they didn't believe in the hereafter. So Yusuf is saying, look, you are doing wrong. That's why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is opening this wahi upon me and not you. And if you also want to become fortunate, then what should you do? You should also believe in one Allah, and you should also believe in Akhir. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept what's been said and heard. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us a true understanding. Inshallah, we will carry on with this next week. Subhanallah.